live martial arts class. We're talking about how to defend yourself in a fight. This is the same answer to how do you fight a bigger opponent? What's the best martial arts for a smaller person against a larger person? How do you defend against a knife? How do you win the street fight every single time? It's all the same, and it comes down to a matter of principles. Self-defense is a matter of principles. You will save yourself, you'll stay safe, you'll win the street fight, you'll go home safe if you follow martial arts principles of self-defense and not necessarily fighting techniques. That means, it doesn't say that any technique is wrong or right. That doesn't mean jiu-jitsu is better, Muay Thai is better, boxing is better. They're all valuable. Elbows are good, palm strikes are good, raking their eyes out are good, learning how to do an arm bar on the ground, learning how to defend yourself to get up off the ground, they're all correct. If you follow the basic principles of self-defense, how to stay safe in a street fight or how to win the street fight comes down to the first principle, which is situational awareness. If you get jumped, if you're walking out your door and you're not paying attention, someone smashes you in the back of the head with a brick or a rock and you're out conscious, unconscious, dead, whatever, on the ground, there's no way you're gonna defend yourself. I don't care how many levels of black belt you have in any style, how much of a great street fighter you are, if you don't pay attention to situational awareness first, you will lose every single time. So number one, pay attention to what's happening, what's going on around you while it's happening. Most of the time, you'll see it coming. You can cross the street, you can stay out of the situation, and maybe you're a great fighter, but do you want to fight 5, 6 guys? Do you want to have a group of people? You want to turn the corner and walk into a bunch of anarchists? I don't know, I don't think they're that tough. But let's say they're throwing bricks, right? And again, you get hit in the head by that brick, you get smashed by a club, it comes out of your blind side, you're on the ground, someone's kicking your face in, you're done. If you're not paying attention, that's the first step. Pay attention, see what's happening around you, situational awareness, and practice that. Practice situational awareness every single day, starting with your cell phone. Take your phone when you leave your house, your apartment, wherever you are, and you're getting ready to travel to another place. You're going to work, you're going to the office, you're going to the store. Take your phone, if you're walking, stick it in your pocket and walk. Do not look at your phone. And even if you're looking for directions, find a place, see who's around you. You need to look at the phone to see if you're walking in the right area. Put your back up against the wall. Bring the phone up in front of your face so that out of your peripheral vision, you see everything else that's happening. Situational awareness is number one, always self-defense principles over techniques. And again, does that mean jiu-jitsu is bad? No, jiu-jitsu is amazing. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is even better. If you know how to pick somebody up and throw them, if you know how to arm bar, if you know how to choke somebody out, if you know some Muay Thai, if you know how to fight and use your legs and use those elbows and bring them up and in, maybe it's knives. You know how to do some kali, some salat, some doce pares with the sticks. You know how to do Western boxing. You know how to move your body. All those are good. Taekwondo's good. Karate's good. Even the Wing Chun punch will help you if you have the principles. Number one, just to circle back around, situational awareness. First rule with your phone, stick your phone in your pocket. When you're driving the car, pay attention before you get out of the car. Let's say you park, right? And now it's harder because they're going back to the face mask for whatever reason. I think it's more testing, but more testing, people, the numbers are going up, everybody's getting the mask back on. They just today, here, Palm Beach County, Florida, you gotta wear the mask everywhere. I gotta tell you, it's freaking me out, but I gotta put the mask on now, and everybody else has got a mask too. I like seeing your face so that I can get an idea of what to think about this interaction. We don't have it, that's just what it is. But before you get out of your car, you park and you look out the windows, look out your mirrors, see who's near you, right? Try to park under a light, try to park close to the building. Don't slap anybody in the head. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about slapping, bam, slap somebody, right? I know what you're talking about. And have you seen the Russian slap fighting? Maybe you've seen the Joe Rogan episode I saw, and he's showing people starting to do the slapping each other, slapping. Yeah, you can generate a lot of power with a slap. A punch is gonna do a lot more if you have a protected hand. But I don't know if that's the right technique or not, right? Yeah, we're talking punching. Yeah, we're gonna go all kinds of punches, right? But maybe that's not it. We're talking situational, number one. Number two, get yourself in a better position. Get your body to be a smaller target. Take all these organs in your eyes and your nose, things that water, and then you can't see anymore, you can't breathe, your nose, blood's coming out, your teeth are going down your throat, they crush your larynx, you're dead, you asphyxiate. Guard it, right? If I'm standing here squared up, and they used to teach us, all the Wing Chun guys thought for a while they could do this kind of stuff, or Krav Maga. I don't know who was doing all that stuff. Anybody know, was that Krav Maga? Was that the Wing Chun? Or was that the FMA guys, the Filipino martial arts? Anyway, for a while there, everybody was saying, all you have to do is stand like this, and the guy throws the punch in your face, and you can't. Your brain is not fast enough to send the message. Even if your hand is fast enough, your brain's not gonna get the message, bam, you get smashed in your face. So as soon as you see a threat, or you feel threatened, or you're not comfortable, situational awareness, that's how you'll know you're paying attention, get in a better position. Your hands are up. This says, hey, yeah, and I love sticky hands, right? It's like smacking each other in the face when you were little kids. It's like put your hands on top and we'll see, can you smack the other guys? You guys remember that game? If you're old enough, I don't know if they still play that. Probably not. Today's kids are a little bit different. They're kinder to each other. Anyway, doesn't work. That's my point. Brain to hands, not fast enough. This position, this is called the flinch block or the flinch guard. And you see people like Tony Blauer, Tony Blauer, master of the street fight self-defense. Here's a guy who understands, who did all the study that the rest of us didn't. We all thought all we had to do was do our traditional martial arts and we would win, right? Yeah, peanuts, or popcorn. Some people, we call it popcorn, I think. Anyway, so your hands are here, right? You're in this natural position. This is a natural tendon lock. What that means is if my hand is like 70 degrees or 120, I think, it depends on which angle you're going for, right? And you push against it. My whole body is going back, like the bumper of a car. My body goes back, so if you come into me, you're not getting in close enough to stick the knife in like you want to. I might get sliced a little on the way in, but I'm talking about keeping distance. So number 2, get in a better position. That means simply step back, put your hands up. And if you can't step back, step in. Now see what my hands do? My hands come into your line of sight, so you can't see me. You gotta move your head around to see me. You're not gonna punch me in my hands if I put them up like this. You still wanna smash me in the face. So if I get in a line like this, I'm controlling the fight. I'm making you do what I want you to do. You're gonna have to move around. And before you do that, I can throw my punch, I can throw my palm strike. Slapping, that's a slap. That's a palm strike. This, using their 5 little bones here, that's the strongest part of your hand. Driving that into their face, and their face going back this way, right? There's a myth that's been perpetuated in the martial arts for a long time, that if you, and I believed it until like, I don't know, 20 years ago maybe, that you take your palm, well, yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'm a firm believer in hit them first. I'm a firm believer. If you hit first, you control the fight. Situational awareness, you're paying attention. Some situations are very obvious. There's 2 or 3 or 4 guys. They're coming up. They're popping off, they're getting in your face. You get in that better position, you say, I will defend myself. Get out of my face, bam! And then you pop them as fast as you can, as hard as you can, which is number 4. We're skipping a little bit. But number 4 is about commitment. Number 1, pay attention, see what's happening. Number 2, get in a better position. Number 3, back to the slap. You can slap him if you want. Reminds me like John Wayne, right? Bam! I don't know if you ever did that in a movie, but he has that mentality. It makes me think that, like, if you ever came up to John Wayne, you guys know who John Wayne is? I don't think he's politically correct anymore, but man, I love his movies. Like, if you came up and you start popping off about America this and America that, and he wouldn't even say he love it or leave it, and I don't believe that's the way you should say it, right? But bam, he might just do one of those real quick and say, son, show some respect. I don't know, that's just my thought. Anyway, slapping or palm strike. If you mean palm strike, then yes, do a palm strike. Punching, my knuckles, I've hit those things over the years, and I punch with the bags. But I'll tell you this, if I'm gonna hit that heavy bag, that one, this one over here, let's go over and look at that real quick. Stay with me. Try not to get you all too crazy. Yeah, I like John Wayne. I watched Hondo. Have you ever watched Hondo? If you've never watched Hondo, there's a scene in Hondo. This is what makes me think. And you know, John Wayne was an actor. He was not a war hero. Jimmy Stewart was a war hero. He was not a war hero. Who knows how he really was in real life. But he's an actor. So I'm talking about the characters he played in a lot of those movies, especially the Green Berets. Quiet Man, that was a good movie. He's fighting the whole time, The Quiet Man. You wouldn't think it's about that. You think it's a love story. It's really about him fighting the big Irish dude. Hondo, the little boy, John Wayne says, go over to the other side, son. You catch more fish over there. And he says, I don't know how to swim. He said, you what? And he picks him up, throws him in the water, and he's like, reach out and pull and grab some water there, son. And the boy swims across, catches his fish, and then the mother comes up. She's all upset. What'd you do that for? He doesn't know how to swim. And he's like, well, why didn't you teach that boy how to swim? He's like 8 years old. And the lady said, I don't know how to swim either. And then you know what happens next, right? She goes running because he's about to pick her up and throw her in. Yeah, it's a funny movie. You got to watch it. Anyway, this right here, this is one of those things. I think it started off as like they still sell them, you know, goes on the side of a boat. You fill it full of air. And then when the boat comes up to the dock, it runs into this and it keeps the boat from getting all trashed and broken up. But you throw some water in that. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's just who I am. It'll be hard for me to change it. I try to tone it down, I can't. Especially when I get excited about stuff like this. Self-defense, when I talk about self-defense, street fight, and I'm not saying I'm a street fighter, right? Because you get to a certain point and you realize you can solve almost anything without fighting. But, here's the truth. I have been in a lot of fights before, but here's the truth. Today, you might not get that choice. 92-year-old woman, New York City, walking down the street, the punk, the thug, the criminal comes up, bam, pops her. Did you guys see that one? She falls to the ground and took her to the hospital. 92 years old, walking on her walker, using a Zimmer frame. Dan Pena, my Pena. He told me, I never knew that was called a Zimmer frame. That's called a Zimmer frame. Hello. Then, like last week, 72-year-old lady in the subway station, different punk, different thug, comes up, bam, punches her right in the face, knocks her to the ground. 72-year-old lady punched by 20-year-old punks, thugs. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you need to learn how to fight, but I'm saying you need to learn how to fight. You should know how, and God forbid it ever happens. But, yeah, it's disgusting, but if it ever does, you don't want to be, and you also don't want to be the person who saw that, right? You saw that 92-year-old lady get smashed to the ground. You want to be the person that steps up and says, hey, that's not cool, man. What'd you just do? And then he turns like he's going to, and you don't want to be doing one of these, right? You want to put your, hey, buddy, back up, bam, and you smack, right? For self-defense. I'm not saying go out and be a vigilante or go start righting the wrongs of the world. But what I'm saying is, if you know how to defend yourself, that's probably a good thing. Learn how to defend yourself. So we're talking about right here, this bag. This is a water-filled bag. It's supposed to have 100 pounds, but I don't have a good hose here, so I keep filling it up with a little cup. And I think I got it close, right? But man, this thing, you can do all kinds of stuff. Work on your speed. You want to throw fast combinations. As fast as you can. Bring them in, and it feels like you're punching a face when you hit this thing. That's why I love it. But here's how this whole thing started. I wanted to show you the 120-pound canvas. That's what you get when you don't want to spend a lot of money on a bag. Canvas, you start punching this, you can, right? You punch hard. Bare knuckle stuff, because I've been doing it for my whole life, and I got strong knuckles, but you can see, right? Starts to do that, which means put a pair of gloves on. You're gonna hit this one or the leather one, the 150-pound. That guy right there is a beast, by the way. Wrap your hands like a boxer does. Learn how to wrap it. Watch a video on how to wrap your hand. Then put a pair of boxing gloves on. Strap the wrist. Now, when you punch, practice your punching, your speed, right? But also your power. Try driving that thing, and you're gonna be able to hit it 10 times harder when you wear gloves. Don't be an idiot. Don't think, it's not that you're an idiot, you just didn't know. But I'm telling you, if you didn't know, bare knuckle punching on the bags is for one purpose. It's like shadow fighting. You want to get your heart rate up. You're going to build a little bit of strength. But when you're going for knockout power, Mike Tyson, one punch, smash, and full knockout power. When I fight and spar against boxers, like real boxers, like guys who spend a lot of time in a boxing gym, they hit harder than anybody I have ever met in my entire life. Taekwondo kickers kick harder than anybody else I've ever met, including the Muay Thai guys. And that's not a cut on the Muay Thai. Not always. What else are you gonna do? Some things are worth getting beat up for, by the way, Terraria. Even if they do have your magic knife that cuts through anything. Some things are worth standing up for. Some things are worth getting in trouble for. Some things are worth having people call you names over. As long as you're in the right and you're doing what you think is right. And then maybe you learn that you were wrong and you can learn and you can grow. But what I'm saying is you see someone getting picked on, someone weak, somebody weaker, somebody who has a disability or is really old, and you see somebody else, or just a group of people jumping on somebody because of their race or their color or who they are on either side of whatever political debate. And you just stand by, you walk away because you're afraid to speak up and say something. Nah, man, that's not cool anymore. It's never been cool, but it's become common, and it's probably always been common because there is real fear there. But this is what I'm saying. Learn self-defense. Learn how to win the street fight every single time by principles. Number one, pay attention to what's happening around you. Situational awareness. Number two, get in a better position. See this? Put the hands between you and them. Interrupt their pattern. Make them think about what they got to do. You're in this better position. Number three, targets. What are your targets? Targets are what you're going to destroy or remove. Are you going to destroy their eyes? Are you going to remove their eyesight? Their ability to breathe through their nose? Their ability to see because their eyes are watering so much because you popped them with that palm strike right in the face? Their ability to breathe, or their mouth swells up, or their ability to breathe here. Yeah, and you will remember that you stood up for them. That's the most important part. You will know in your heart that you did the right thing, even if you get smashed down. And that's what builds confidence, and that's what builds self-esteem. That's how you feel good about yourself as a human. And when you don't stand for anything, and I'm not talking about stand for things politically, but you don't stand for yourself, eating healthy, exercising, breathing fresh air, meditating. Oh, I meditate every day. I'm meditating. I'll teach you how to meditate. I got some videos on your meditation. If you don't stand for yourself first, you can't stand for anything else. You learn how to start standing up for yourself. And I'm not talking about going out looking to pick a fight, but just you see somebody getting picked on. And you say to that person, you go up to the person getting picked on, especially if it's cyberbullying. Because for a lot of young people, their whole world exists inside the phone, right? And they think everybody doesn't like them, and everybody's picking on them, everybody's teasing them, and you see it. And you walk up to them and you say, hey man, I saw that. Hey sister, I saw that. That's not right. Are you okay? And you let them know they're not alone. That's number one. Number two, you say to the other person, that's not cool. Don't do that. I don't approve of that. That's not right. That's, there's right and wrong. We know that's wrong. Yeah, most bullying is verbal, but a lot of it happens this way verbally now, right? So you speak up and you say, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like her. You don't have to like him, but you can't talk to him like that. Because the teachers and your mommy says, use your words, right? Use your words so you don't smash them in the face because you lost your temper. That's what they mean. But what are the words? And they don't tell you the right words. And they say, make a good choice. We're all friends here, friends. And no, we're not. We're not all friends. You don't have to like me to be respectful. I don't have to like you to be kind, honest, and respectful, right? That doesn't mean that I'm friendly. Although if you want to have friends, you got to be friendly, right? But you go to my point, right? You have to speak up. First, you see it, you reach out to that person so they know they're not alone. That's the worst feeling in the world. Number two, you say to the other person, if you can, and if you can't, don't. If you can't go up to the other person and challenge them and say, man, that's really uncool, don't do that. Don't worry about that. Let somebody else handle it. Go tell a teacher if you're a kid or whatever, right? All right, let me move away from this. It's messing up the stuff. I just wanted to show you. When you punch that thing, get some gloves on so you can build real power. All right, so you see it, you speak up. I saw that, that's not cool. Let them know they're not alone. I'm here for you. That doesn't mean that you even have to like the person, but we're here together. Number two, you say something to the other person. But what do you say? That's the most important thing. You don't have to like me, but you can't talk to me like that. You don't have to like me, but you can't call me names. You don't have to like me, but you can't post that on the internet about me. You don't have to like me, what I stand for, who I am, color of my skin, my gender, my preferences. You don't have to like any of that. But you cannot cross this line and become violent in your words and become violent in your actions toward me. I have every right to defend myself, which brings me back to the self-defense, right? We're talking about how to defend yourself in a fight. Pay attention, number one, situational awareness. Number two, get in that better position. Put the hands between you and them in this flinch block. Flinch means when you flinch and you go back, your hands are naturally gonna go in the right position. And if they do hit you, it's gonna be a glancing blow. If your hands are here, if your hands are here, if your hands are here, you're smashed in the face. I don't care how fast your hands are, because your brain can't send the message fast enough. Here, you flinch naturally, and you're gonna be safer 99% of the time. Number three, ask yourself, what are my targets? And this is what's so important about this whole concept. They always change. If you're standing and it's one person right here, your targets are pretty obvious. They're pretty traditional. Eyes, nose, mouth, throat, solar plexus. That's the sternum, by the way. You go down from the sternum until it starts to change their voice. That's the diaphragm in there. Knocks their wind out. Go a little bit lower where the belly button is, just below that thin muscle that covers all their guts. Real quick, bam, punch them right there. Boom, real hard, whatever it is for self-defense. And again, and you ask me, who hits first, me or you? You hit first. Whoever, if you're defending yourself and you know you don't have any choice but to strike, yeah, strike first. If you can strike first, go for it. For self-defense. But those are the targets. We're talking about targets, they change. What if you're sitting on a bench? Excuse me, you're sitting on the bench, you're waiting for the bus. The guy comes up at an angle, or two or three guys. Now all of a sudden, your targets have changed. They're not the nose and the mouth, because the guy's standing, you're sitting. Now, bam, right in the groin, right? In the stomach, in the solar plexus. Smash that knee, break that knee sideways. If you're on your back, you're lying in your bed, in your house, someone snuck in, broke in, you wake up in the middle of the night, someone's on top of you, the targets change. And that's the point about defending yourself. Targets, not techniques. All the techniques are right. A good elbow right across the jaw, you wake up, bam. The elbow across the jaw is great technique, but is it necessary? Is it gonna be on one of the targets you're gonna use, right? If you're sitting in the chair and the guy comes up and he's standing there, maybe you don't have an elbow. Maybe you have a palm strike right to the groin. Maybe a tight fist, right in, bam, as hard as you can, 2 or 3 times with intensity, which is number 4. Number 4, the fourth principle, and that's where we stop with this, and then I want to show you something. 4 principles. Number 1, situational awareness. Changes all the time. Walking out of your door in the morning, going to work, going to school, going for the bus, walking out your door at night. It's dark. Does the street light work? Are the street lights out? Are you on the first floor, second floor, third floor? Are you in a big building, small building? It's always different. You drive your car, you sit down. I'll show you that in a minute. You're in your car, you park. Where are you going? Are you going into the 7-Eleven to grab a big gulp right before you go to work or whatever? I don't know. Pumping some gas. When you're pumping gas, situational awareness. A lot of people get robbed at the gas station. But if you're paying attention, as you pull up, you're looking out your window. You get out of the car, you're looking first, like right around the car, see if anybody's hiding behind your back tire on the other side of the pump. And then you look up, 25 yards out, who's around here? And then somebody starts to walk up. You see it before they get too close. Not necessarily. True story. I'll tell you that true story later. But there are many, many scenarios where a person wakes up, there's someone on top of them, and they've had this training, this specific training about situational awareness and better position and targets. And they said to themselves, uh-oh, or take a deep breath, breathing on full commitment. Number 4, when you strike, you have to go in full power, full speed. You want to hit somebody and drive through the target. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be fast. If you think of this, if you can remove my ability to breathe by crushing, destroying my windpipe, it only breaks under a few pounds of pressure, like 8 or 12 pounds or whatever. And you have this elbow and you're driving forward. First, I'm gonna have the gag reflex, which means I'm gonna have to go back. Second, if you're coming full commitment and I'm not going back fast enough, you're gonna crush it. I'm gonna asphyxiate, which means I'm gonna die because I can't breathe on the ground before the cops can come and take me to jail. This is just an elbow. It's that simple. But when you strike, and this is how you have to practice when you practice on your own. Now, if you don't have a gym, a martial arts school, a boxing gym, a place with bags and stuff, you don't necessarily need any of that. You can just practice full strikes, and in your mind, you tell yourself, you picture the scenario, and you go, and you don't go for speed. This is boom, boom, this is fun, right? This is quick, fast, boom, 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 boom. That's fun, but and you want to be in great shape when you do competition, if you're competing. But self-defense is not fighting. Self-defense is not competition. This is what's so important. If the little kid, and I teach the little kids all the time, if they are being attacked by a bigger person or a woman against a man, and most women, I heard it said really well, it's like the strongest woman could maybe beat a bunch of different men, but the strongest man, the best fighter man in the world, will beat all women. And I know that's not politically correct, but that's the truth. That's the science, right? It's about our bone structure and the hormones and all that other stuff, the way our brains are wired. So if you think of it in terms of head-to-head competition, and you're a woman or you're a weaker person, you're always going to think that you are going to lose. So you're not even going to defend yourself. But if you understand this principle, that my eyes, if you take your thumb and you stick it in my eye, by the way, you asked about the choke, if someone's choking you, take your thumb, stick it in their eye. I don't care what animal it is, human animal, shark, dog, horse, right? I don't know why a horse is attacking you, but you get my point. You stick that thumb and you stick it in their eye, they can't stop it. They have to go back. I have to go back. If I'm coming at you, you stick it in my eye, I've got to go back. The windpipe. Take your thumb and you hear how that changes my voice? And you push it in there. And again, if that thing breaks, if that thing crushes, and my body knows that instinctively, I'm dead. So you start to push that, then you have to go back. So when you practice committing, pushing through the targets. And again, you don't have to have bags. You have an imagination, and in your mind, you create this picture. You get in this better position. You think about the targets, and you tell yourself, I'm going to destroy his eyesight. I'm going to remove his eyesight, his ability to see me, and then I'm going to practice full extension into the face, into the nose, palm strike, a palm strike, and then my hands are going to claw down and rip his eyes out of his face, which is a technique, right? Or I'm going to stick my elbow. I'm going to drive that elbow in and through his throat. Or my knee is going to drive in and through his groin, his private parts. Or my knee is going to come around, or my foot, or I'm going to stomp, or whatever it is, because techniques are always going to change based on what are the targets you're trying to destroy or remove. All right, quick review, and then I want to show you one more thing, because this is about the knife. If someone's got a knife, you want to, and I've been working with this guy, Mike, and I love working with Mike. I'm a lot taller than Mike is. I'm a lot just physically bigger. I was born bigger, you know, and which is not good or bad. We're just different, but it's good for you because Mike has this idea. He wants to learn how best to defend against somebody who might have a knife, because that could happen in his career, in his life. He wants to know how to address it. He's preparing so he doesn't have to panic. You are preparing, watching this, doing this training, you're preparing so you don't have to panic. Remember that. Always prepare. Practice, flinch block, better position, elbow strikes, knees, whatever your techniques are, imagine it, prepare so you don't panic. Anyway, Mike and I, twice a week, do probably 10 minutes of a scenario with a knife trainer. Like if you know about Filipino martial arts, you know it's like an aluminum knife. And yeah, well, it's not just muscle memory. It's about shifting your mind. It's about understanding you already have, no matter how big or how small you are, how physically fit or how infirm you are. All that matters is that you use what you already have. You already have everything you need to defend yourself. You need to use the principle of violence to stop violence. And preferably, like you said, before they put violence on you, you put violence on them. Man's trying to rape a woman, that's his violent act, right? She takes his throat, his life. She takes his eyes. She takes his eyes before he gets a chance to take her dignity and her life. You use it first if you can. That's what I mean. So anyway, so I've always got this knife, and I come at him slow at first, and then after a while, man, I'm coming in, I'm changing hands, I'm distracting him over here, I'm hitting him on top of the head, I'm hitting him in the back so he's losing his focus. And as soon as his eyes go to the knife, he's done. I get him every time. As soon as he starts looking at my knife, I can do whatever I want with it because his focus goes to my knife. But as soon as I remind him and he switches his focus back to what are the targets? As soon as he changes his mind, as soon as you change your mind and you shift your mind from the fear of the knife, from the fear of the bigger person, from the fear of the mob and the crowd and the anarchists to what are my targets, then you just go straight through, and he shifts like this now. And he looks at me and his elbow starts coming up my throat, and I've got to address that before he hits it, because even when he hits it light, it hurts. And all of a sudden now I'm here dealing with his thing, and I forgot about the knife. And he pins it against my body, and he throws 3 or 4 more devastating strikes. It's all in your head. When you shift your mind and you take control and you remember, number 1, situational awareness. Number 2, get in a better position. Number 3, ask yourself, take a breath, ask yourself, what are the targets that I need to remove or destroy? Number 4, go all in, commit. And as long as you stay in that line, and that's not, and your body's gonna move, right? It's not a direct line, but as long as you stay in that line of thinking and you stay in control and you discipline yourself just around those 4 basic ideas, you will drive yourself into that fight. And the bad guy, the other guy, the punk, the thug, the group of people, they will have to respond to you because you're now in charge. And that's how you win the fight against anybody, bigger, stronger, knife, whatever. All right, let's talk about the final piece, which is my favorite weapon. Those of you who know me know I love martial arts weapons. This cane has a lot of practical uses. I can use it to build strength. I can use it to build balance. I can help it assist me in doing squats and doing lunges from side to side. I can put the band on it. I can do standing push-ups. I can build my whole body up with just this. But the most effective thing, the reason I love this thing so much, is that when you hit, it has devastating power. And if they have a knife and all you have is your hand, right? You know you're gonna get cut, right? You might even lose a few fingers. They might even get some spot that's gonna kill you. But if you have this, you've just changed it a little bit. This is a force multiplier. You already have everything you need. You know about the principles of situational awareness, better position. But this time, the better position, I just happen to have a big, long, heavy hickory stick for $9 on Amazon with free shipping if you have Prime. I put the link below if you want to look at it. But that's all this is. It's just a walking cane. And then you can use this. They're too close. Your hands are up. You pull it, rake it down their face, bring this hook into their eye, into their jaw, and you devastate, right? Yeah, and I understand, Cody, which is cool. That's no worries. But here's why I like it so much too. Here's the other part of it, is that you can carry this anywhere you go. So let's say you are in the subway in New York, and there is a group of thugs, or a thug comes up, punches a 92-year-old woman who's using a Zimmer frame right in the face, walks over to a 72-year-old woman, punches her straight in the face, and you say, some things are worth getting in a fight for. I'm gonna speak up. And you say, hey, bud, back up. Don't touch anybody else, right? I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna defend these people. You're hurting old, frail, weak people. And you're allowed to take this in the subway. You're allowed to take this on the train. You're allowed to take this to the airport. You're allowed to take this in the police department. You're allowed to take this in the library, the bank, the grocery store, with a mask or without a mask. You're allowed to carry this anywhere. So, and you might not want it. You might say, you know what, that's not for me. Like you said, Commander Cody, that's cool. But at some point, maybe you do. Maybe you say, you know, I'm gonna look stylish. Everybody is gonna think I'm British. I'm gonna walk around, right? Like the old bobbies, the old police officers. They got the big bobby hat and they're wearing a thing. I don't know, you get my point. But you can use this and you can take it anywhere. You can't get away with a pair of nunchucks. You can't get away with a pair of collie sticks. You can't even carry a big long bow staff most places. But this, anywhere you go, and it's just so, I mean, there's so many strikes, so many things you can do, and it's nearly unbreakable. I haven't been able to break it, and I've been hitting this on everything. Yeah. Yes! The police in Tintin, you're right. The twins, brothers or something. Used to read those books as a kid. Did you read them as a kid? Thompson or Thomas Brothers or something? Anyway, yeah, but it's very effective. And if you know what you're doing with it, and you don't even have to know a lot. You just have to know how to create some distance between you and the threat and say, I have every right to defend myself. You don't have to like me. And then basic strikes. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much. Leave me comments below. And if you have any questions or comments, you want to share for each other, but send me some emails, info@quantumstrong.com, info@quantumstrong.com. Yeah, I know you're joking around about the drumsticks, and I keep telling you, in these buckets, I've got the drumsticks. So since you brought it up, let me show you real quick. See, you can do that with a cane. I use these, and then I teach the kiddies how to drum. But then we also start to get into some of the Sinawali from Kali martial arts, so that I can disguise the repetition and I can get the kids faster when they do their stick fights. Plus it really gets your heart rate up. It's a lot of fun, and you get to do a lot of squats without thinking about it. Anyway, I'll show you that one time or another time. And thank you so much. Thanks for all of your support and your help. Check out the links below if you have time. Go to my website, pasquinelli.com. Click on all those ads. Especially if you get ads from people, like I get these ads from these obnoxious companies that I don't like. I just click on the ads because I know they're paying somebody something. You can get me a little bit, a couple of dollars. I'll keep the lights on. Go click some ads, and I'll see you guys next time.